In the shrouded mists of Europe's darkest centuries, where empires crumbled and kingdoms warred, one tale outshone all others, a story not of kings or crusades, but of a treasure so vast, so mysteriously lost, that it has haunted adventurers, scholars, and myth hunters for centuries. It was not buried by pirates or stolen by bandits. It vanished amidst bloodshed, betrayal, and holy war. This is the legend of the treasure of the Knights Templar, the most famous lost treasure of the Middle Ages. Shadows of the Cross. The story begins in Jerusalem, 1119 AD, amid the sacred dust of the Holy Land. From the ashes of the First Crusade, 9 knights emerged and swore an oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. But these were no ordinary warriors. They were to become the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, the Knights Templar. They claimed their mission was to protect Christian pilgrims on their way to the Holy City. But rumors whispered through the alleys of Antioch and the cloisters of Europe suggested something more. That they had unearthed something in the ruins beneath the Temple Mount. A relic, a manuscript, or perhaps a vault of ancient knowledge. Whatever they found, it changed everything. Within decades, the Templars had become the most powerful military and financial force in Christendom. They owned castles, lands, and entire economies. Their reach extended from Scotland to Syria. They created one of the first international banking systems, safeguarding pilgrims' wealth and enabling vast transfers of money across continents. But with power came envy. With secrecy came suspicion. The fall of the Templars be that early 1300s, the Holy Land was lost. The Crusader kingdoms had collapsed under the might of Islamic forces, and the Templars had returned to Europe. Their military role diminished, but their wealth seemingly untouched. King Philip IV of France, drowning in debt and hungry for control, turned his eye toward the Templars. On Friday, the 13th of October, 1307, he struck. In a synchronized sweep across France, hundreds of Templars were arrested. The charges were bizarre: heresy, idol worship, blasphemy, but the outcome was fatal. Torture extracted confessions, and soon flames rose in the public squares of Paris. The Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake in 1314. With his death, the order was officially dissolved by Pope Clement V, under pressure from Philip. But when the Inquisition came for the treasure, they found nothing: no gold, no relics, no ledgers, no secrets. The vast Templar fortune had vanished. The trail grows cold. From that moment, the Templar treasure entered the realm of legend. Some claimed it had been spirited away in wagons from the Paris Temple just days before the arrests. Others believed it was hidden beneath Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland, protected by Masonic descendants of the Templars. Still others said it was buried on the island of Oak, off the coast of Nova Scotia, where symbols of Templar origin would be discovered centuries later. Chroniclers of the age made scattered references to vast amounts of gold, relics from the Temple of Solomon, and even the Holy Grail itself. But no definitive trace was ever found. In the vineyards of Languedoc, the heretical Cathars were said to have sheltered fleeing Templars. Some historians suggest the treasure was split and dispersed among sympathetic noble houses. Others believe it was taken by ship to the Iberian Peninsula or hidden deep in the Pyrenees. Yet through it all, the same questions lingered. If the Templars were truly poor in their founding, how did they become so rich? What did they find in Jerusalem? And how could such a treasure disappear without a trace? The secret of the Temple. Modern myth hunters have turned to the heart of the mystery: Jerusalem. During their early years in the Holy Land, the Templars were stationed directly atop the ruins of the ancient Jewish temple, a site long believed to conceal sacred artifacts. Some speculate that the Templars excavated the ruins and uncovered ancient scrolls, hidden relics, or the Ark of the Covenant itself. Others point to a strange shift in Templar architecture and symbology after their time in the East. Their churches began to incorporate elements of sacred geometry and esoteric design, spiral patterns, eight-pointed stars, and labyrinthine crypts. Some scholars argue this was not mere religious expression, but a sign they had acquired lost knowledge, perhaps even pre-Christian mysteries from the ancient world. Whether the treasure was gold or knowledge, relic or power, its concealment became part of the Order's final mission. In the face of destruction, they protected not only themselves, but whatever it was they had sworn to guard. The Grail, the map, the vault is centuries past. The story of the lost Templar treasure entwined itself with other myths. The Holy Grail, long the object of Arthurian quest, was increasingly linked to the Templars. Some believed they had found it beneath Jerusalem. Others claimed it was never a cup, but a bloodline or even a coded truth. In Portugal, the Order survived, reborn as the Order of Christ. Under Prince Henry the Navigator, they funded voyages that would open the age of discovery. Some suggest this was not coincidence, that the navigators carried maps drawn from ancient sources, gifted or guarded by the Templars. In England and Scotland, symbols carved into ancient stones, the cross-patay, the lamb and banner, suggest that Templar remnants continued in secret. The vaults of Rosslyn Chapel, adorned with impossible carvings of New World plants before Columbus' voyage, fuel theories that the treasure crossed the Atlantic long before history recorded it. In France, hidden beneath the cracked floors of ruined commanderies, lie whispers of underground vaults. None have yielded the treasure, but strange anomalies, sealed doors, unexplained tunnels, and undeciphered codes suggest it may yet be close. Myth or truth, despite centuries of searching, the Templar treasure remains elusive, and yet it persists, in books, in films, in dusty monastic records, and encrypted parchments. What makes this myth endure is not just the lure of gold. It is the idea that something was hidden, something worth killing for, something powerful enough to frighten a king and humble a pup. Perhaps it was a physical treasure, the wealth of 1,000 campaigns and castles. Or perhaps it was a spiritual treasure, secret knowledge, ancient texts, the lost wisdom of the ages. Or perhaps the treasure was the Order itself, a network of disciplined, devoted men bound by oath, whose loyalty transcended borders, whose silence outlived torture, and whose purpose remains obscured by smoke and fire. In every corner of Europe, where ruins cling to hillsides and forgotten chapels crumble beneath ivy, there may yet be a door unopened, a passage unwalked, a code unsolved. Dot or jewels, but the very heart of a forgotten world. Epilogue. The legacy of the treasure today, the myth of the Templar treasure, inspires more than adventurers. It fuels entire genres of literature and conspiracy, from Dan Brown's fiction to the fevered speculations of pseudo-historians. It is hunted not only by seekers of fortune, but by those who chase hidden truths. For some, the treasure is spiritual, a symbol of the sacred, the eternal quest, the light in darkness. For others, it is historical, a clue to the movements of lost knowledge, the shaping of modern Europe, and the strange continuity of power behind thrones. What is certain is that the mystery remains. The treasure, if it ever existed, is still lost. But the search, the idea, is alive. In that search, the Templars endure. And perhaps that is the real treasure after all. In the heart of medieval Europe, amid crusades, coronations, and cathedrals, a mystery was born, a shadow stretching across centuries. It was not the mystery of a missing king or an unsolved murder, but the disappearance of a treasure so immense and enigmatic that it transformed from historical incident into enduring legend. This was no simple hoard of coins or jewels hidden beneath a stone. This was the lost treasure of the Knights Templar, a vanishing so total, so perfectly timed, that it would baffle generations and fuel countless theories. It would become the most famous lost treasure of the Middle Ages, a story where fact and myth are hopelessly intertwined, and where every clue leads to deeper secrets. The rise of the warrior monks in the year 1119, during the turbulent aftermath of the First Crusade, a small band of knights formed a new religious order in Jerusalem. Taking vows of poverty and chastity, they pledged to protect Christian pilgrims traveling through dangerous territories. Their name echoed through holy and royal halls alike, the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, the Knights Templar.